Oh, man. Now my camera's disconnected. Give me a second. What is going on here? What is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? My gosh. The Knicks don't show up. My camera doesn't show up. Are we good? Knicks don't show up. My camera doesn't show up. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? The New York Knicks lose to the San Antonio Spurs by a final score of 120 to 105. Appreciate you guys in the chat, all of you in the chat. This was it's a bad loss, man. Bad loss. And the New York Knicks fall to the Spurs. And they had Mamasa, Mamakusa drop. What did he drop tonight? What did this man drop tonight, guys? Mamasa, Mamakusa. 7 of 7 from 3. I'm all discombobulated right now. 7 of 7 from 3 from him. And the Knicks just, I mean, look. Mamasa, Mamakusa. 34 points, 9 rebounds. 7 of 7 from 3. 9 rebounds. 5 offensive rebounds. 34 points off their bench. Only missed 1 shot. Look, the Knicks started off this game extremely slow, extremely lethargic. Offensively, they were a step slow. Did they make the run in that third quarter? Yes. I actually thought there was a point in this game where the New York Knicks were going to win this game. But, you know, they didn't. They got that, like, Cat was awesome in the first half. Kind of went away from him in the second half. You wondered if his finger was hurting him. He banged up his finger. This was one of those weird games where the Knicks just didn't have it. They didn't have the energy to start. They were missing shots. Karl-Anthony Towns was the only starter to score at one point until, you know, when was OG Anunoby finally hit a 3 in the second quarter. He was one of the only starters to score, and then the Knicks missed a lot of shots in the first. And bad game, guys. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. We'll talk through it all, but all in all, the Knicks just lose a tough one to the San Antonio Spurs by a final score of 120 to 105. And there's a lot we can talk through, but Mamakusa killed him, man. And I'm trying not to botch his name. That's why I'm saying that. Like, I'm sorry if I'm offending him, but Sandru Mamakosaveli, Mamakuzivili, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 7 of 7 from 3, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, he was just being left open. The corpse of Chris Paul, who has played in, I think, every game this season, 12 points, almost gave him a double-double, 9 assists. Stephen Castle is going to be a superstar in this league. He's a star. They didn't even close with Stephen Castle, by the way. Look at this minute distribution from them. I don't even think Harrison Barnes played in the second half. I don't know what was going on, whether he was hurt or whatever, but Mikal Bridges did not show up tonight. You could tell the length was bothering him. They were being physical with him. Mikal Bridges was a no-show. OG Anunoby was a defensive demon tonight, but, you needed more from him offensively. 5-15, back-to-back games where OG Anunoby has been inefficient for this team. Karl-Anthony Towns I thought was awesome tonight, but the Knicks just kind of went away from him. You wonder if the finger's bothering him, but, Josh Hart, 2 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. I actually thought he contributed to that run in that third quarter, but ultimately I thought Thibs kind of left him in there too long heading into the fourth quarter, and they had to take Josh Hart out the game because you didn't want to play him the entire second half. And when they took Hart out, McBride out, it was too little too late when they came back in the game in the fourth quarter. And Hart with 2 points. So it's like he had a triple-double last game. Now he's back to 2 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Precious Achiuwa didn't give me anything. Campaign, 3 threes. Landry Shamet, no show. Landry Shamet, no show. It's a bad game, guys. Terrible game. I see you all in the chat. What's going on? Tony says unacceptable. Hit him up, says fire Thibs. El Figgy says, I swear we're the most bipolar team in the league. Loud and Clear says embarrassing. What's going on, Loud and Clear? Wayne, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Hit him up, says Mitchell Robinson is the only one to show up. San Antonio Spurs were doing hack-a-Mitch in the fourth quarter. And Mitchell Robinson has actually been really good in terms of hitting his free throws this season. Hack-a-Mitch. And they were playing well. Mitchell Robinson was dominant today. Dominant. And you wonder why he only played, what did he play, 17 minutes tonight? You figure maybe that's because Thibs wants to get him going in the next game and not sit him. But Mitchell Robinson with back-to-back amazing games, and that is a very positive sign. That's the only positive tonight, along with just Cat. And I just thought this game, they missed shot. The New York Knicks missed shots early, and they just couldn't get over the hump. And, they fought all the way back. They were down to open up the third quarter. San Antonio hits a 3, and it's like, all right, when is Thibs going to pull the plug? Knicks fight back in that third quarter, dropped 29 points. And they defensively in that third quarter was extremely positive, in my opinion. Like one of the best defensive quarters we have seen from this starting five, especially with Karl-Anthony Towns at the 5 position. They only allowed 16 points in that third quarter, and that was a positive sign. But fourth quarter, man, I mean, Mamakusa, man. 19 minutes, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 7-7 from 3. Okay, I'll play along. I'll play along, man. Averages 5 points a game. Let's go to his game log. And look, he had a great game. Shout out to him. He had an amazing game. Great game. Once again, Mamu Kelesivirili. I'm thinking I'm pronouncing his name right, but I gave him a nickname, Mamakusa, because he was awesome for them. And credit to him. Tippy cap. 10 points last game, 10 points the game before, 13. 19 minutes, 7-7 from 3, guys. I mean, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. Big Tass says the Spurs were celebrating this win like the finals. Yeah, they were going crazy on the sideline. Loud and Clear says only other than Cat, no creation by the offense. Yeah, man. El Figgy says we might lose tomorrow too on a back-to-back. Man, I don't lose to the Hornets, El Figgy. Come on, I don't think that's gonna happen. But look, you just lost to the Spurs, and it's possible. It's a back-to-back with travel. The weird travel, by the way, that the NBA sent the Knicks from Golden State to New York to San Antonio, now back to Charlotte. Like it's weird. Nostalgic, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Yuri says, "Hey, Thibs played the bench." Oh man, appreciate every single one of you in here. Knicks lose to the Spurs 105-120. Ugly, just ugly game, man. Ugly game. And, look, Spurs had contributions from everybody. The Knicks just had no shows tonight, and they were missing shots, man. They shot 29% from three, 11 to 37 from three, and, just wide open looks, too. Just missing. Hart, clanks. A lot of Josh Hart shots tonight were just terribly off. Terribly off. And, it's another Josh Hart was minus 26 on the night, by the way. So just a bad game from Hart after having that great triple-double game the last game. And what you're seeing with this team is, look, I don't know, man. I can't get a read on this game. I really can't, because last game was so good, and I know the Heat stink. I think they just lost to the Detroit Pistons at the buzzer to Cade Cunningham. Heat stink. Knicks had an amazing game tonight, but it's just, look, whenever Sandro, like you can't, like, that's the game. This is the game. Like, this is the game, guys. 7 of 7 from three, 13 of 14 from the field. He was on fire. NBA Jam. The ball was on fire from him. He was not missing every time he caught that ball. And you would think the Knicks would put a body on him or something. They were just leaving him open. Right? Be a little pick and pop every single time. Kept going to it. Leave him open. And he kept making it. And you just have to credit the player, because 7 of 7 from three, it probably will never happen again in his career. And unfortunately, it happened against the New York Knicks. And, but that was just their icing on the cake. And then you had Keldon Johnson hit a bank three at the end of the shot clock. And it was just that type of night, man. It was just that type of night for the New York Knicks. But it started with a slow start for this team. And again, in the third quarter, they had a great third quarter, only allowing 16 points. Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns were playing good together, and then they started to go to the hack and Mitch, and then Dibs took Mitch out, and then, it was all she wrote after that. I mean, the game was over at that point anyway, but I just thought the offense tonight was really the issue. And to compile that, you had Mama Mwakusa, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists on 7 of 7 from the field, man. Man, oh, man. Eddie says we need to lower our expectations. What's going on, Eddie? Appreciate you in the chat. Vibe says Josh is off on defense, offense, and he's turning over the ball constantly. Beginning of the fourth quarter, I thought Thibs made a mistake and should have took Josh Hart out there, because he turned the ball over. They picked his pocket, and he played the entire third quarter. And at that point, you're like, what are you going to do, Thibs? Are you going to play him the entire game? And after that, he took him out, and then he didn't come back into the game until, late in the fourth, but it was all she wrote after that. But yeah, rotations were kind of funky tonight. And just look at the minute distribution from the Spurs. They were well rested, and they got guys, man. Even Bismack Biyombo gave him some valuable minutes in that first half. Blake Wesley is like the fastest player in the NBA. Like watching this dude run sprints full court, I'm like, bro, this dude is quick. Blake Wesley was just running past Knicks and playing at a level that I haven't seen all year. I was like, man, this dude looks like he looks shot out of a cannon. And then Keldon Johnson, timely shots. Julian Champagne, But it's this guy right here, man. And then Castle, superstar. He's going to be a superstar, and they didn't even close with him, which is the fascinating part. And then, no Harrison Barnes in the second half, but ultimately it's this guy, man. It's 34 points, 77 from three, 13 of 14 from the field. He just got hot, man. And the Knicks just couldn't combat that. You go to the Knicks side, Bridges, I thought just a bad game from him. 14 points, 5 of 13 from the field, 3 turnovers, and they were giving him fits, the length of the Spurs. And what you're seeing is, Bridges kind of struggles with that. The length of the Spurs were giving Bridges fits, and, he just couldn't get in a rhythm all night. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Vibes, what's going on, Vibes? Shamit sucked. Yeah. Shamit sucked. He sucked. He was bad. Shamit was bad. Smoke says the offense is always the issue. Yeah, especially in the first half. This was in the first half, by the way. Shout out to Kevin McCullough. That's the positive of the night. Triple-double in the G League. I like Kevin McCullough. This was the issue, guys. This was the start. Right here. You're not going to win many games when you start like this. OG Anunoby, 0-7. McBride started 0-5. Mikal Bridges, 0-4. Josh Hart, 0-2. And in that first half, Karl-Anthony Towns was dominating the San Antonio Spurs. Dominating them. They couldn't guard him. Cat was well on his way. Like, I thought he could have got 40 tonight easily. But, anytime your starters start like this, it's 0-5, 0-7, 0-4, 0-2. I mean, you're going to put yourself in a hole, and that's exactly what the Knicks did tonight. They put themselves in a hole. And at halftime, yes, credit to them. Did they fight their way back? Yes. The willpower in that third quarter showed resilience, which we love to see. And the defense was locked down in that third quarter. But, I mean, you start like this, it's going to be extremely tough to climb out of this hole. And the New York Knicks just couldn't climb out of the hole. You know, this is the start right here. Karl-Anthony Towns, 19 points. The rest of the starters, they were 0-15 at one point. You're not going to win games if the shots aren't going in. And when Mamasa Mumakusa drops 34 points, 9 rebounds on 7-7 from 3. So, tough loss, guys. Crimes Dad says, is the sky falling? What's going on, Crimes? Crim's Dad? Is it Crim's Dad or Crimes Dad? Crim's Dad. Is the sky falling now? The sky isn't falling. This is a bad loss. Vibe says, we will be lucky to make it out the first round of the playoffs. I don't think so. Talented Nate says, Thibs seriously needs to stop running Mitch, Hart, and Precious at the same time. You can't expect us to score in the paint when there's 8 players guarding it. Yeah, I mean, that lineup right there is a net negative. And, Precious played in the first half, didn't play in the second half. And, Precious, 2 rebounds, 4 points. He had a nice fast break, sprint to the basket, nice dunk in the first half. Didn't see the court in the second half. And, Mitch was awesome. I just wish that you could have played Mitch more. But I think the Knicks were kind of like I think the Knicks predetermined Mitchell Robinson's minutes tonight because he played 17 minutes tonight and he played 24 the game prior. And I do think they want to get him out there tomorrow. I do think that. And I think maybe they gave themselves like a little cap on his minutes tonight. But Mitchell Robinson, just bright spot tonight, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 5 offensive. He looked great, man. It's a very positive sign what Mitchell Robinson was. He was dominating this game. He looked amazing. He looks absolutely back. 2 blocks, 1 steal for Big Mitch. He looks incredible. And that positive sign off that bench because it's I mean, you're going to start to see the Mitch and Towns minutes. You started to see it more tonight. Yeah, and you're starting to see it more and more. And yes, they're playing really well together as a unit, but when you're missing shots and you're just giving up open looks and you're just allowing Sandro to drop 7-7 from 3, I mean, you're going to lose, man. You're going to lose. You get to lose. Knicks lose 105-120. They drop to 43-25 on the season. Still locked up in the 3rd seed. A lot of stuff to still work on, though. Michael says Kevin McCullough's got to be better than Shamet. Could we bring him up? I think that's next year's project, Michael. Shamet's been playing better. He was bad tonight. Look, they struggled with San Antonio's length. They did. The Knicks wing struggled with San Antonio's length, especially Bridges and Shamet. OG, I thought, was starting to get in a groove, especially that third quarter. He was dominant defensively again, and he's been phenomenal for this team. But, Sochan, Vassell, Castle, Sandro, Champagny, Keldon Johnson. These guys are lengthy, man. These guys are big. These guys are big bodies on their team. And, just credit to them. I mean, how many turnovers do we have? Only 10 turnovers. Only 10 turnovers for the Knicks. 44 boards. Compared to 52 boards for them. Free throw line was even. 29% from 3. They shot 45% from 3. 28 assists. Just Sandro was killing us, man. He killed us. Knicks 100 GM, what's going on? Knicks 100 GM, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Appreciate all of you in the chat. Thank you for giving me your time. Knicks, unfortunately, could not win tonight. Mama say, Mama Saba Makusa. Got him. It's just El Figure says Sandro celebrating with Flavor Flav. I know, you saw Flavor Flav. I think he has to live in Texas. The New York native Flavor Flav was out there celebrating with the Spurs, and it's look. You got a back-to-back with the Hornets now, and positives tonight defensively in the third. You look great. Cat is starting to look like Cat. Mitchell Robinson is starting to look like Mitchell Robinson, but the inconsistencies are starting to see. I wouldn't even say. Is it crazy for me to say, like, the Knicks, I thought they played okay defensively tonight? Like, even though the Spurs dropped 120 points, is it crazy for me to say that? It's just like their guy got extremely hot. Like, extremely hot. And, look, they played okay. If I were to give the Knicks a grade defensively tonight, I would give them B-, C+. That third quarter was really promising. Promise. It looked great. And defensively, the Knicks have been better. They have been better. But when you have these big blow-up quarters and then you give up a lot of points in, the second quarter, they gave up 38 points to the Spurs. When you try to climb back, when you try to climb all the way back up the mountain and you try to chip out the lead, and they were doing that, it just takes a lot out of you. And there was a point where I was like, the Knicks are chipping at this thing in the third quarter. I'm not sure that Tom Thibodeau's going to sub out these starters because he's going to get antsy and he's going to, deviate from his substitution patterns like he has been all year. But, look, I would give him a B-, C+ defensively. I thought they were okay. It's just Sandro got extremely hot. And offensively, they couldn't hit anything. Guys, I'm going to put up this graphic again. Anytime your starters start like this, it's not a recipe for success. It's not a recipe for success. Loud and Clear says, good news, Tracy Morgan is okay. Yeah, shout out to Tracy Morgan. He is okay. Hit some of these comments. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Once again, hop into Discord. The link is pinned up in the chat. You guys can hop in and, join the voice chat. I'll be taking your calls a little bit later. Tony says, if we can't beat the Spurs team without Fox and Wemby, then what does that say about this team? Tony, we're without JB, and I know no excuses, but, if you want to kind of get on the excuse train and kind of, one off this performance, the schedule really hasn't been kind lately. A lot of weird travel for the Knicks. And look, tonight was bad. I mean, it was a bad loss, right? But if you want to kind of, do away with it, they've been traveling a lot. But it's the NBA. Everyone travels. So it's just a bad loss. But I'm not going to sit here and say, just because of this loss, the sky is falling and we're going to lose in the first round. But, as it stands right now, we would be playing the Detroit Pistons in the first round. And those in the media think that we can't even get past the first round. playing the Detroit Pistons. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, if the New York Knicks were to lose against the Detroit Pistons in the first round, heads are rolling. Somebody's getting fired. Don't want to go down that road yet, but the Knicks travel just has been like kind of wonky. Like they went from Golden State, San Francisco to New York to Texas. Now they're going to Charlotte. Schedule's been weird. They've been in like a weird area of the schedule. But, I mean, all right. You got Charlotte tomorrow. Who knows how this team is going to respond off a back-to-back. Now, guys, if they lose tomorrow, then yes, I would agree with most of you in the chat. Like what's going on here, man? Was a Miami Heat game just a one-off? But at Charlotte, you got to just take care of business, man. You know, beat Charlotte, and then you got Washington. Dallas just blew a game tonight to the Indiana Pacers, which was crazy. Clippers been playing well. Bucks. You very well could play the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round as well. Very well could play the Bucks in the first round as well. Still up in the air. Still a lot of work to do. But ultimately, when you pair a bad shooting start from your starters, when you compile that with Mama Scovelli shooting lights out, and the Knicks, the Knicks didn't have a game plan to stop him. Like they were just daring him to shoot, and he was shooting, and he was making them. Knicks, I thought, just should have had the game plan to stop him. They did switch it up a little bit. Bridges on Chris Paul, and then they were switching their defensive rotations in that third quarter, which led to that big comeback. But, they were just leaving him open, and he was just making a lot of shots, So, Tyrone says, what's going on with the Knicks? They've been losing. It's a bad game, Tyrone. This game started poorly for them. They were missing a ton of shots in the first quarter. They were feeding Cat. Cat was awesome tonight. Hurt his finger. I thought he got slowed down there in that second half. You hope that Cat's finger is healthy. I think it was his middle finger. It wasn't even his other finger that was bothering him, his thumb. So he had that rewrapped, and then in the second half, he really just couldn't get back into a rhythm. And Mitchell Robinson was awesome, but you had bad performances from Josh Hart. Mikal Bridges was, and then Landry Shamet was bad, and, it's offensively, they just couldn't get in the rhythm, and they were missing like open shots. They were generating good looks. Like some of their looks were okay. I know they only had like 10 turnovers, guys. They were generating good looks. They're just missing. And then the Spurs looked shot out of a cannon, guys. I mean, that Wesley kid. Am I the only one when that Wesley kid, when he came in, he might be the fastest player in the NBA. Like he was shot out of a cannon, but defensively in that third quarter was a very positive sign for me. They turned into Super Saiyan in the third quarter defensively. Aggressive, play man, press up. And I mean, anytime your starters are going to start, Anunoby 0-7, McBride 0-5, Bridges 0-4, Hart 0-2. You're not going to climb that mountain back. And that's how this game was lost. So Tony says the Pistons bench can score 40 to 50 points a night. We will lose to the Pistons easily. I'm being truthful. Oof, I don't think so, Tony. I think that's a 5-game series, man. I really do think that, man. We're going to make work of them. I hope. But I really do think we will be. Tyrone says Detroit Pistons might take the number 3 seed. Knicks 100 DM says Wesley cookied, unfocused. Bridges. Yes, says everyone was bad. Yeah, Bridges was like, that's a good word. He was unfocused. He was just tonight. And he was struggling to get a rhythm. And he was like, the assists were up for Mikal, but, credit to San Antonio. They had a game plan. And, they were allowing Cat to beat them, and no one else on the Knicks were doing anything. And it didn't take until that third quarter, Anunoby got going, McBride started getting it going, and, Mitch came in, and they handed off the torch to Mitch. And then after that, it was all she wrote. Pretty much. Tony says that Wesley kid probably got the most minutes tonight. He didn't know how to act. Clean cookie. Oh, man. Yeah, just it's a bad loss, guys. And they have a chance to redeem themselves tomorrow, guys. You're at Charlotte tomorrow, and then you're home to Washington, and that's when you can kind of relax a little bit. You're at Charlotte. You're at home for the next 3 games, and for the next, five out of – so you're at Charlotte, and after that, 5 out of the next 6 games are in Madison Square Garden, right? And then hopefully we get some good Jalen Brunson news, but you got 14 games left this season. It's crunch time, guys. It's crunch time. 14 games left this season for your New York Knickerbockers. The status of Jalen Brunson is still up in the air, right? We don't know what's going on. Hopefully he gets back. I'm hoping he's a warrior. I have faith that he's going to come back strong. Snazzy, hey everyone, I can't believe this loss. Even though we're without Jalen Brunson, they should have won. Snazzy, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. I haven't seen you in here. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support. Yeah, it's a bad loss, Snazzy. It's a tough loss for the club, and 7-7 from 3, man. I mean, please, tip your cap and just move on. Look, you saw some PJ Tucker minutes in the fourth quarter. He didn't look like he wanted to shoot, but, saw some PJ Tucker minutes. And that situation is going to be interesting, whether the Knicks sign him for the rest of the season or, depending what they do on that. But, he really hasn't played. So, El Figgy says you could tell when they just don't care. Wayne says, damn, we miss Jalen Brunson. Yes, it says just pathetic. I get the frustration, guys, in the chat. It's I wouldn't say they didn't care tonight. Look, I thought promising sign was the third quarter, and Cat looks like Cat now, right? And it's just the inconsistencies from, Hart lately, and Mikal has been awesome, but it was a blah game tonight, bleh from Mikal. And OG has been phenomenal, and they were just missing shots in the beginning, and they just couldn't climb. Sometimes that's just the answer, guys. I know it's boring. I know that's the boring thing to say, but this dude was career high, and it's just another role player having a career high against the New York Knicks. I wish somebody was going to make a spreadsheet of all the role players that obtained a career high against the New York Knicks. I would love to. I would pay for that spreadsheet, because doesn't it seem like every year there's always a role player going off against the Knicks? And tonight it was Mama Scovelli. Mama Scovelli. Mama was on a mission tonight. El Figgy says Josh can playing all night. Mikal playing half-ass. OG and at least Towns and Robinson were balling. Chris Paul shut down Bridges. Yeah, look, Chris Paul, I think the corpse of Chris Paul, right? It's amazing that he's providing them anything. And look, honestly, it's a game you should have won. You should have won, guys. I mean, the Spurs are out of the play-in tournament. They just lost to the Charlotte Hornets. Spurs just lost to the Charlotte Hornets, who you're going to play next. And you lost to them. You're 43-25 on the season. Indiana's 39-29 on the season. So chances are you're going to finish the number 3 seed in the East, right? And unless something goes off the rails. And from 4 to 6, it's just fluent, very fluent right now. And, the Knicks are just in a weird spot where they're probably going to win 50 games, but you currently have all this negativity surrounding the team, the media pretty much writing them off and saying, you had Udonis Haslem yesterday saying that they're probably not going to beat the Detroit Pistons in the first round, which is they already wrote the Knicks off. The obituary is already written. And I don't want to get there. I don't want to get that far yet because I just think that playoffs are a different game. It's a different animal. Anything can happen. But on the other side, you kind of understand it. You have games like tonight, and it's like, I don't know. But like I said earlier, you lose in a first round, heads are going to roll. That's a massive failure. But we'll get to that point where we get there. But tonight was just one of those games, and it was just a bad loss. Loud and Clear says, I agree. It's unfortunate, but sometimes it's as simple as the ball just doesn't go in all the time. Yeah, Loud and Clear. Sometimes it's that simple. This man shot 7-7 from 3. Your starters started the game. Again, I'll put this graphic up. Cat was awesome, and nobody else was helping him. Mitch came in and was helping him a little bit, but the rest of the starters 0-15. And then you allow their role player just kill you, hurt you. So Tony says we're not finishing third and we drop into 4 or 5. It's to be determined, right? To be determined whether we drop to 4 or 5. But a lot of Knicks fans want the Knicks to drop to 4 because then you feel like you could beat Cleveland. You got a shot against Cleveland in the second round. And it's like, be careful what you wish for. But look, man, I'm just worried about getting to the playoffs at this point, building good habits. Defensively, we're starting to get better, even though we gave up 120 tonight. Third quarter was very promising. Build good habits, stay healthy, and get Jalen Brunson back. And then it's on, right? That's what I'm worried about. Positives, Mitch Robinson looks like Mitch. He looks phenomenal, by the way. Like, I thought Mitch was going to take a little bit to get going, but Mitch looks absolutely incredible. Phenomenal. He's playing amazing. It's unfortunate we couldn't win tonight. Tony says our bench will be the same come playoffs, and again, we got to expect our starting 5 to shoot 50% every night from 3 for us to win. And yeah, you really don't trust Tom Thibodeau in his rotations, right? With Shamet, it's like, yeah, he's been playing better for this team, but do you really trust a Landry Shamet? Do you really trust a Shamet? Like, at this point in the season, you haven't seen anyone else. You haven't seen Wright. You haven't seen Kolek. Campaign has been, for the most part, he's been okay for this team. But there's been games where he's been a ghost and shoots you out of a game, but he could shoot you back in of a game. He got crossed badly tonight, by the way, Campaign, on the floor. I think I have the picture. This was Campaign. Slip and slide. Slip and slide in that. And what was it, the fourth? He got crossed badly, but you can't really have any trust in that. And, you know, Tucker is 39 years old, and I don't think he's going to give us anything because he hasn't played. And Tom Thibodeau hasn't gone to him. And Precious Achiuwa is one of those players who has been super inconsistent and has been terrible lately for this basketball club. So the bench is a huge question mark for this team going to the playoffs. And we know in the playoffs, rotations shrink. Your starters play more. You trust in your starters. You will have a hopefully healthy Jalen Brunson. But it just seems like when Hart shoots this poorly, this Knicks team needs Hart to do more offensively because 2 points, 0-3, 1-4 from the field. I don't want to point the finger to him because I know others should have provided something as well, but that's what it is. That's what it is, guys. All right, let's go to the Discord. Let's go to your really quick. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat, by the way. Yuri, what's up?
Yeah, what's up? I'm just gonna say this flat out. Do not be surprised. It's the NBA. Anybody can be beaten on any given night, Knicks included. And by the way, Ann, I was doing research on that guy, Sandro. He originally grew up in the European side.
Hmm.
I don't know what team he played for, but he was on a Spurs. He got acquired by the Spurs recently. I don't know if he was in the G League. He's been their bench piece for a good minute. Essentially, he's been getting more time due to Wembanyama being out, and
Yeah, I
that
know, I
allowed
know, I know.
them.
I've been like saying, I've been joking, saying Mama say Mama Samu Makusa. I just,
Right.
his name is Sandro Mamukusvili. I'm, excuse me for botching it, but I just,
Yeah, I call him Sandro.
yeah, Sandro. He was
It's
awesome,
the
man.
thing. That's the thing, though. For God's sakes, are we forgetting that the Wizards beat the Nuggets in the Western Conference in the Western in that side? Are we forgetting that? I know it's off top, but it's the Knicks related too. Anybody can be beaten on any given night. Y'all gotta recognize that. Talking to the chat, obviously, not
Yeah.
you, Ant. But
No,
yeah, no,
Yuri,
this is just
Yuri, you're right. Anyone can get beaten, but look, this next team is too talented to be losing to the San Antonio
I. That's the
Spurs.
problem.
Bro, you got
I
OG
agree with you.
Anunoby, you got Mikal Bridges, you got Karl Anthony Towns. You should be beating the San Antonio Spurs, even though you're traveling.
Oh,
You're hopping on a plane
yeah,
again
no
from New
excuses.
York.
I
You
agree
should
with
be
you on that.
beating the
No
San
excuses.
Antonio Spurs. You need to be beating them. This is why a lot of
I
Knicks
agree.
fans don't have faith in this team because you have losses like this.
But I understand that. At the same time, though, it's the NBA. Anybody can be beaten on any given night. And I'm standing by that. But let's be honest, there you don't get help from Mikal Bridges, you don't get help from Jalen, you don't get help from Deuce McBride, you don't get help from OG Anunoby, and you got cats sitting on an island saying, "Can anybody score some points for me?" For God's sakes, the only good thing out of this game tonight was Mitch, and Mitch is hitting free throws finally.
Yeah, Mitch.
Finally,
Mitch is awesome. Mitch has been awesome. These last couple of games are really promising for Mitch, and I'm 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 that's a big positive for this team, Mitch, because look, your bench is thin, and you need Mitch to come in here and kind of be your defensive anchor, and he has been. Him and Deuce have kind of changed your defense, and look, that third quarter
right?
was very promising, but I mean, the first quarter, when you start like that, you're not gonna win
It's demoralizing.
many games.
It's demoralizing.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that y'all shouldn't be giving up on this team. Period. End of
Tony in the
story.
chat says, "Let me know when the Cavs, Celtics, OKC, Lakers lost to the injured Spurs team."
Let me tell you something. They have lost to an injured Spurs team before, so bite me on that. Go
Like,
look at
yeah,
their
yeah,
record if
Yuri,
you don't
it
mind.
happens. Yuri, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the call.
But
Anything else?
but yeah, no. One thing I want to get off my chest.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pull. We didn't have Jalen. This game should have been won by the Knicks,
yeah,
hands down.
yeah. It should have won.
But but anybody says that we don't need Jalen is out of their mind on playoffs. Because I've heard a lot of Knicks fans say we don't need Jalen. I'm not gonna specify who, but Jalen is the orchestra for this team. There's a reason why we were the best team in turnover ratio. There's a reason why when Jalen has the ball in his hands, I trust the ball more with Jalen than I do with Deuce McBride. Shout out Deuce McBride.
Yuri,
All
appreciate the
I'm
call.
trying to say is that this team is going to be all right.
Yeah,
Keep the faith.
appreciate it. Appreciate Yuri for always hopping in. Shout out to Yuri. First of all, if anyone ever tells me that this Knicks team is better off without Jalen Brunson, I will no longer respect your opinion ever. Like, what? And I've seen that on Twitter. I've seen that on X, and I just shake my head and laugh. I don't know what what's going on, but there's no way in heck. And look, Mikal has been playing better without Jalen Brunson, and he will figure it out with Jalen Brunson. But if anyone tells me that this Knicks team is better off without Jalen Brunson, terrible. Blasphemy. Yes, yeah, it says something is off about Josh these days. El Figgy says maybe Josh's knees are a bigger problem than he's letting on. Some nights are better than others. Tony says I will guarantee we lose tomorrow. Come on, Tony, have some faith, man. Have some faith, Tony. Look, it's the Charlotte Hornets, guys. If they lose to Charlotte tomorrow, you'll have a different tone from me. That is for sure. But it's the Charlotte Hornets. They should take it's a back-to-back with travel. Those are always tough. So you've gone from New York to Texas. Now you play tomorrow, and you hop on a plane tonight and go to Charlotte. Did AI make the NBA? Did the Knicks schedule late here in the stretch run? Because that's crazy, by the way. But look, the probability of them slipping a 4, okay. Is it possible? Yes. You got, 14 games left? It's possible. Indiana won tonight. The Dallas Mavericks choked, so they gained a game on you. And you're 4 games ahead of them in the loss column. I don't think we play Indiana again, if I'm not mistaken. No. I think we're done with Indiana. We play Cleveland at Boston. We play Cleveland twice. So it's possible the Knicks could slip to 4, but probability, I think last time I checked, they have a 97% chance to have the number 3 seed in the East. So you got Charlotte tomorrow. You go to Charlotte, you take care of business, and you come home for some winnable games. And hopefully you get right, because if you don't, a lot of the questions that a lot of the Knicks fans have been having, it's just going to get louder and louder and louder. Wayne says we better not lose to Charlotte. Wayne also said we appreciate you. You're at therapy session after these losses. Wayne, appreciate you in the chat. Appreciate you for being your therapist. I try to make reason of these losses and these wins. And look, through the losses and the wins, we ride together, man. Appreciate the crew. Tony says a back-to-back on a road, we definitely lose, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope you are too. Tickets as low as $19. You might sit courtside and watch the New York Knicks tomorrow for $100. I wish MSG prices were $19 to get in. Damn. Tickets as low as $19. I wish it was like that in New York. You probably can catch the Knicks courtside for what, $80 in Charlotte? I might do it. No, I'm not going to do it. But it's crunch time, guys. It's crunch time. Build good habits, and we just go from there, right? El Figgy says the Knicks usually won't get to their destination until 2 a.m. They've got to go practice before the game and possibly watch video. It's a hard schedule no matter who you play. It's hard. You're right. They probably won't get to Charlotte. They probably won't get in the beds till almost 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's life for the NBA. And they have, after this one, they have one. Let me go back to the schedule so you guys can see this. So you have this back-to-back, then you have the 25th and 26th, and then you have the 1st and the 2nd, the 5th and the 6th. Man, you got quite a few back-to-backs left. So you got 1, 2, 3. 3 back-to-backs left this season. It's catching up. But hopefully we get positive news and, about JB. Just tough loss, man. Tough loss, man. What's his name killed you. You started slow and you couldn't hit your shots. And, just shout out to Mitch, shout out to Cat for playing well. The guys got to just get it together. And you can't, no matter how you put it, look, I can come on here and make excuses. You shouldn't lose to the San Antonio Spurs. Even in San Antonio, you shouldn't get down by that much to that Spurs team. You're too talented. And that's why a lot of Knicks fans have questions about this current basketball club, because they think they're not focused and they just have games like tonight, which makes you question. Like, they could have, honestly, if they would have came out tonight and beat the San Antonio Spurs hand over fist and won by 15, 20, it would have built some great momentum. It would have had you feeling good about the squad again, right? You just beat Miami. you just beat San Antonio. Now you're going to Charlotte. Let's say you beat them. Now you're starting to build something. So, but they didn't. They lost, and unfortunately, Yuri says, "Thank God March Madness is here." Yeah, appreciate you guys in the chat. Knicks lose. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll catch you guys next time. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night. Sleep it off. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.